Okay, so I'm just going to go over this article here. So here we go. Patients of a North Vancouver doctor will now be looking for a new physician. Dr. Sophia Bayfield sent an email letter to her patients saying after March 24th she will no longer be able to treat them as she is not vaccinated against COVID-19. She writes, "Unfortunately, this order will pertain to me, despite having recovered from COVID myself, along with thousands of other healthcare workers who cannot be vaccinated for very legitimate reasons." She did not give any indication as to the reasons why she cannot be vaccinated, and who cares? It's nobody's business but her own. "I will no longer be able to see patients in my family practice as of March 24th, nor do any form of telehealth medicine. I will not be able to practice as a physician in the province at all," the letter continued. Okay. "Because I'm unable to be vaccinated, this order will affect not just me and my ability to provide for my family, but all of you who are or have been my patients, as well as patients in the future who would have otherwise been served by myself as a physician." So it goes on to sort of talk about the regulations. Now, we're going to scroll down here. One of Bayfield's patients said she was shocked upon receiving the letter. Shocked, I tell you, shocked. Okay. "It was very upsetting because we had no idea our doctor wasn't vaccinated," Rhonda Spence told Global News. "The other part, of course, is there's now hundreds of people across the North Shore that are scrambling to find a new doctor." Spence said the worst part was Bayfield was cherry picking facts, saying the vaccines were not that effective because she had COVID and because she had COVID, she is safe to be around. So this person says, "I found that part most upsetting because this went to many, many people, some of whom may be vulnerable and may be feeling some kind of pressure. She was asking people to take some kind of action about that as well. Frankly, as a sidebar, if I'm a doctor and I'm sending this here, I don't think it's my business to be asking my patients you know, to say, hey, you guys need to contact uh, Bonnie Henry, the head of BC Health or whatever, to put pressure on her, whatever. I don't think that's kosher, right? It's not really something that I'm a big supporter of. But anyway, she continues. Uh, Spence said Bayfield is a great doctor. The community is sad to lose her, but she crossed a line that was so inappropriate. I needed to speak up. It's so inappropriate. So inappropriate. And she said Bayfield should not have used her position as a medical doctor to make statements that are not true. It's just very distressing that she's going to lose her job and people are going to lose her as a doctor for something that just seems to me so stupid, Spence said. "I really feel badly about it, but the facts are the facts. You can't spread misinformation. It's something we all need to do. We all need to do about," and that's why that would be a terrible sentence if that's how this woman actually said it. Anyway, "we all need to do something about," and that's why I spoke up. Well, now here's my issue. Here's my issue. I've been told for the last 2 years, okay, trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. Well, here's a doctor. Here's a medical doctor. She's been practicing for ages and ages and ages. She mentions in here, I think, somewhere how long she'd been working for. But anyway, she goes on and on, and she says, "Yeah, uh, here's me, the doctor, saying this is the case." So I'm assuming that there's statistics in this letter that she brings up because there's none listed in this article. But that's the doctor. That's the doctor. But here's somebody, this Spence person, who's a patient, saying you can't spread misinformation. It's something we all need to do something about. So why aren't you listening to the expert? If the expert is now telling you that there are reasons or there's data or there's something, but you're saying, you know what? I'm not listening to you, you expert. What do you think you are? Somebody who took years and years of medical training and understands how to read studies and follow evidence? I mean, that's just silly. That's just silly. Just because you wear a lab coat? I think not, right? I think instead I'll just listen to what the talking heads on the news say. because they clearly are the experts, and me with my fears and my stresses and my panic, that's going to be the real thing to listen to. So this is where I get bothered. You can't say listen to the experts and listen to the science for years, and then when suddenly those experts or some of the experts start saying something different, you then say they're just spreading misinformation. They're spreading misinformation. They're lying to us. They're cherry picking facts. Well, how do you know your people aren't cherry picking facts? This is why you have to be able to have these discussions free and open, which we haven't been able to have for years now. Because once you do this, then it's not about facts. It's about which side and which cherry picked facts. That's the reality. If you just place everything on the table and you discuss everything, all the good, all the bad, the stuff that supports your position, the stuff that's against your position, and you discuss it, and you can then say, look, here's my position. And yes, I see there's evidence that way, but I give that evidence less credence than I give this evidence, which backs up the position I have. And it might be that I have my position because I give more credence to certain studies because I find them more valid and therefore they guide my position. Or, yes, in fact, some people may just say, this is my opinion, and I'm only looking at evidence that backs my opinion up. I'm going to disregard anything that's different. That's allowed. That's allowed. That's reality. And ultimately, the people that are like that are stubborn in their position, they're not going to be swayed. But the other people out there that are on the fence, that don't know, and that are willing to listen, they're the ones that will ultimately be swayed by the preponderance of the evidence. So I think it's interesting that suddenly this person Spence, nobody's saying, hey, why aren't you listening to the medical expert here? Because this medical expert is going against the norm. This medical expert here has a different opinion. So suddenly, this medical expert is no longer considered a medical expert worth listening to. I find that very telling.